Hello my friends, I got a new card for us to do today. This is kind of what it's gonna look like, but so I kind of got a few things figured out and calculated so we can do it. We're gonna do a lot of scoring and cutting today because there's gonna be a lot of little pieces. This is also a foldable card, so let's go from there. Let me take all of this off. This has my sizes on here. That way I can show you as we go. Okay, so we're gonna take our regular sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, the regular one, and we're gonna go from there. So what we're gonna do, we are gonna cut it down to 9 by 7. So we're gonna go down to 9 by 7. That's gonna be the size of our base to make a 5 by 7 card. Okay, so now this is 9, this is 7, because gonna have a card that's gonna be 7 down, and it's gonna be 5 actually when we fold it up. So what we're doing is we're gonna score at 2 inches on both ends. So go down to 2 and score it. And then do the same thing on the other end. Go down to 2 and score it. We're gonna fold it up so we know where our folding parts are. Then we're gonna cut it at 1.5, but we're not cutting a full piece off because then we're gonna cut into it. So we're gonna cut at 1.5 in between our score lines. So we have one score line here, another one down here. So between here and there, that's where we're gonna cut it. You can use your die cutter like mine, where you can move this around and adjust where you're gonna start and finish, or you can use an X-Acto knife. It's up to you. So we have it sitting at 1.5. So I'm gonna cut it from one score line to the other. Now turn it around to the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So we put it at 1.5, and then we cut it from one score line to the other. I'll show you in just 1 second what we got. So basically we got 2 pieces like this. Okay, so we're done with the cutting. That's all the cutting we need to do. Now we have to score. We're gonna score right here. So from here to here, we're gonna score at 2 inches, or 4 basically from the beginning. At 4 here, or if you want to line it up like I did, at 2 here. So the top part and the bottom part to the cutting lines. Do not go past the cutting lines like this. See, we did not score here, just top and the bottom. Now we can turn this around. So now our scoring lines are on this side. This part is longer than this one here. And now we're going to score the middle part, the one that is between the cut lines. So we're going to score on there at 4. So we put on 4, and then we put our scoring and go right only in the middle between the cut lines. Just like that. Now, all we do is we're going to fold on those lines. So you fold here on this one, and then on that one, and this one down here, and then this one. And now when we fold this up, these two go towards the front, and the other one goes in the opposite direction. And then just lay this down and score it really well, so you have everything nicely scored. You can use your scoring tool, do any way you like. So here's what our card's gonna look like. Ta-da! See? So when it's closed, the size of the card is 5 by 7. So that's going to be our finished card. Okay, so now to decorate it. So what I did the panels for this. Since this is 2 inches, we ended up cutting 1 3/4 by 6 3/4 down to make this. And you need 2 of these. So let's stick this on. Mine is double-sided silver, so I'm just gonna take it off and stick it right on here. Make sure it's all balanced out and even. Like that. And now we're gonna do the other side. Same thing. Just line it up. Remember, it is the same size as the other one. So we're just gonna line this up so it's nice and lined up. And then we're just gonna stick it down. So when we fold, that's what we get. Okay, now we're gonna put these on top. I had this marble paper that I wanted to glue right on top. I'm gonna use 2 different glues to make sure it holds well, since this is so sparkly and scratched up. Actually, it's not scratched up, that's what I meant. It's a very smooth surface. I am thinking about scratched up, that's why I said that out loud. I think I might, sometimes on those kind of surfaces, if you want to make sure something holds well, what you can do, I know it's kind of not the best thing because you're spoiling the paper, but I think I'm gonna do that. What I'll do is I'll scratch it up a little bit in the middle, right here. It's not going to be seen under this, so, but what it does, it gives a little bit of space for it to be attached. That way the paper is definitely not going to be coming off, because that's what is a little bit worrisome about sparkly surfaces like that. Okay, so we're gonna line this all up on here and put it right on there, like that. That way it holds well. We're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I'm using different glues like I usually do, and we're going to scratch the middle up a little bit to make sure it will hold well. I'm going to keep that out because we have all these different surfaces to do. Got a lot of gluing to be done because a lot of little pieces here and there is here. So since this it's going to be even smaller, so it's 1.5 inch by 6.5, because we're going to make it another quarter smaller than what our other one was. Just bear with me. Okay, now we're going to line it up the same way. Make sure all the sides are all lined up. A little hair there. It's bothering me. So there's that. Now we're going to stick the little ones on. Okay, so this one is 1 3/4 by 1 1/4 for these ones here, and there's 2 of them. So basically I'm making them a quarter smaller than what that is. So we got 2 of these to stick on. And then we got these 2 that we need to glue on. And this one is 1 inch by 1.5 inch. We're going quarter down more. We have these pieces here to go on top. This is 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. Okay, and you have 2 of those. Okay, and then the ones that go on top of it are 2.5 by 1 inch. A small scratch in the middle. Like that, and 1 more. There's this little piece that's not a perfect corner. Okay, stick that right on here. And now let's do the middle. The middle. So this piece, the smaller one that gets folded, is 1 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4. Okay, and then the piece that goes on top of it is 1 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then the last piece, and since this one is 3 inches long, so this would be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna scratch it up a little bit. Scratch it up just a tiny bit. Okay, gonna line this up and place it right on here. Make sure it's all nice and straight. There we go. Okay, so this is our card. Like that. Beautiful, isn't it? Ta-da! Okay, now for decorating. I'm just gonna do a little bit here. Not gonna do as much as I probably could. So the same silver, I found it and I'm gonna decorate this piece with it. I'm using the die by, it's this one by Studio Tonics. It's a small one, so I'm gonna use it on here. And I'm just gonna put it on just like that. It's also sticky, so it's gonna be nice. It's gonna adhere right on there. You can use different stuff. You can use either double-sided tape or dotty tape to adhere it. It kind of depends on what you want to do. So there's that. Now for the back, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this verse on here. May the God of hope fill you with joy and peace as you trust in him, especially right now with everything going on. It's a perfect verse to encourage people. And remember, so when we stick this on, this is going to be hanging off. There's a black part right there. So make sure you're not putting any sticky on there. So just put it on this end here. Like that. We can leave some off. So see how I left this big part here? That way we can put this right on here. Just like that. We can even fold it up probably so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to put it right in the middle here. And I did it on black, but you can do it on any color you like. And I lined it up that way the folded card is not bigger than the regular 5x7. That's why I didn't have it hanging off, because if I'd have it hanging off on this side instead of here, there'd be a problem with envelopes. So that's why I'm doing it the way I am. And I made some flowers. You already seen me make these in the previous videos. So let me get my hot glue gun going. So it starts heating up. And then I'll explain a little bit more about my flowers. Okay, so let's have that start gluing. So I made 3 of these flowers right here. I wanted to kind of keep it more of a skin colored tone because of the card being just marble white and silver and gray colors of the card, so I just wanted to stick with something very nice and sweet. So I made the flowers, and you can either do them like this, all 3 together, or I'm going to use some leaves from Heartfelt Creations that I really like. So I'm going to use these. I already stamped them, die cut them, inked them up, kind of a thing. So I'm going to place that right on here. I'm going to glue it right on my card base. I'm going to glue all my petals, some, not the tips, but some glue on all of them. And I'm going to have it facing this way to the outside. And remember, make sure your glue is not anywhere on the movable parts or off of the card. So right here, see how my little leaves are sticking off. Make sure there's no glue there, and there's a little bit here too. So make sure you're all doing that well. And now you could mold the leaves or use different kind of leaves. I just wanted to kind of use that one. I had that one already pre-done that I wanted. Then we're going to use some pearls also. I have some of these pearls here that we're going to use. Let me get those out. Okay, so these match my flowers, that's why I chose them. We're kind of sticking to the same theme. I might, after I glue these a little bit, I might actually cut off the ends. I'm not going to have them sticking out like I did in the other video I had. I'm going to line these up so I glue them correctly with the petals in between because they tend to move. So I'm going to glue them that way they're in between each other and not, so there's no holes in there, like that. Let's see, it's heating up. Glue is starting to come out, so we're almost ready to go. And on these ones, by the way, I added some green in the back, kind of like the greenery that goes around a regular flower. So I wanted to add a little bit of that to it too. So I'm going to glue this flower together. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in between there. Okay. So we got that holding. Let's do the other ones. Line them up in between and glue it together. Okay, and maybe just a tiny bit here, tiny bit in there. Okay, and one more. So we got that. Let's get these petals up here glued together also. Okay. Get all these little hairs off. And then we're gonna trim the tips off like that. That way they're not going to be in the way. I don't want to cut off completely, just enough so it's not seeable. Just like that. And now we're going to glue them right on here. So let's lay them out the way we want them. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm gonna put quite a bit of glue on this one now, because I want to stick it down on here like that. And then I'll fix the flower a little bit. I know it's a little squished right now, and that's okay. Stick that on down there. Give it a second to hold, and we'll do the last one. Right there. Turn my glue gun off. All these little hairs, not a big deal. They rip off, come off easily. And then when the flower had a bit of a chance to glue on, what you can do is go back and close it up as you like. You can adjust them. This one needs a little bit more glue in there, just a tiny bit to hold the petals together so that they don't move. And then you can straighten them out. Just like that. And that is our card. Let's put some pearls on here. These are connected, so I can either put like 3 at a time together, or I can do them all separate. It's up to you. Like this for